Come with me if you want to live. Did you like my voice work? Okay, fair enough. What's up everybody, today I'm here to talk about the Terminator timeline. You may have heard there's a new Terminator in the works, but after this photo over here, a lot of people are a bit skeptical about this film, and I have to admit this is not a very promising picture. However, I am determined to not lose hope because I love this franchise, and I've been waiting ever since I've seen Terminator 2. I've been waiting for a great Terminator to come back, to do a great comeback. We also know that Arnold Schwarzenegger, James Cameron, and Linda Hamilton, the original Sarah Connor, will be returning, so I can't stop geeking out about it. And again, I am hoping that please this movie will be great. Fingers crossed. James Cameron told us in an interview that the new Terminator will follow the timeline of Terminator 2. Therefore, all the other films are pretty much going to be considered as a bad dream or something like an alternate universe. So today I wanted to talk about what will no longer be canon going forward, so people won't be confused when the new Terminator is finally here. Let's start with Rise of the Machines. This movie came out in 2003. And obviously we have a new cast for John Connor because he's no longer a kid, he's already an adult. I didn't really like the cast, he's played by Nick Stahl. And just always had this idea that John Connor was a very badass and fierce warrior. When we first saw him in the original, he had like a scar, and I've always thought this adult John Connor would be this fierce warrior. So I didn't really like the way the actor portrayed John Connor. He seemed like a scared kid still. So in this particular story, John Connor didn't want anything to do with being the savior or leading a war against the machines. And I didn't really enjoy that because that's what I wanted to see. This time, the Terminator is sent back not only to protect John, but also Kate Brewster, who is supposed to be his future wife. I do like the idea that John Connor would be married, and obviously his future wife would be involved in this whole mess with the resistance, but I thought that couple had zero chemistry. Just saying. Another thing we learned in this movie is that John Connor will die in July 4, 2032, killed by the same T-800 he is so familiar with. Also in this movie, Sarah Connor is dead. We were told that she died of leukemia, and that's another thing I didn't really like very much because Sarah Connor has been such an iconic character after T2 that it felt really cheap to just tell the audience she died of leukemia as if she was just a minor character. She deserved better, but a side note is that Linda Hamilton was actually asked to return, but she did not like the way that they wrote the character in the movie, so she said no. And you know what? I'm actually glad she said no, because at least we still have the image of the awesome Sarah Connor from T2. Another thing we see in this movie is another Terminator called the TX that is assigned to kill not only John Connor but also Kate Brewster. This Terminator has an endoskeleton with built-in weaponry and a liquid metal exterior, kind of similar to the T-1000. So I thought that was pretty cool. She also took a female form, and one of my favorite scenes in that film, it's the fight between the TX and the T-800, Arnold's character, in the bathroom. I thought that was pretty cool. Judgment Day is inevitable, regardless of the events of Terminator 2. The movie ends with Kate Brewster and John Connor taking shelter inside a nuclear facility, while Skynet, who's now is a cyberspace, is launching nuclear bombs around the world, killing billions of people. Although I thought this movie had great action scenes, I really did not enjoy the story very much. Now let's take a look at Terminator Salvation. I like this movie a little bit better than The Rise of the Machines, and that has a lot to do with the casting of Christian Bale as John Connor. In my mind, I thought finally we have a great guy that looks like a warrior and a fierce leader to play John Connor, so I was very pleased with that. The film takes place after Judgment Day, so still following the same timeline, and this time the machines are pretty much taking over and John Connor is leading the resistance against the machines. In this movie, John is already married to Kate Brewster, who now is played by Bryce Dallas Howard. John gets to meet his teenage dad, which is super weird. But even though I thought that specific thing was kind of cool, I didn't really enjoy the casting of Kylo Reese, mostly because I didn't think the character looked like the original Kylo Reese, and it's not really the physical features, but mostly the way that Kylo Reese portrayed himself when we actually meet him in the original. Because I've always thought that someone that would be around a war and seeing all this machine, he would be a little more badass, and I really did not see that in that teenage character. So I wasn't very impressed with that particular portrayal of Kylo Reese. But also another interesting thing is that Skynet learns that Kylo Reese will be sent to the future, and obviously they're gonna try everything to interfere. Another thing we learned in this film is that Skynet developed a new Terminator that is half man, half machine, and that I thought it was pretty cool. One of the things I really enjoyed in this film were the callbacks to T2. We hear John Connor listening to one of his favorite songs by Guns N' Roses, You Could Be Mine. We also hear the original Sarah Connor's voice on the tape, and we get a glimpse of the original Terminator. Even though I didn't think that the CGI on that particular Terminator was very good, it was still a very unexpected moment. I really enjoyed seeing Arnold back. I have no idea that he would be involved, and I remember watching that in the theaters, and everyone in the theater applauded and cheered when that moment happened. So that was one of the things I really enjoyed in the film. But I think the biggest bummer in that movie is the ending. A lot of people are not happy with it. You know, John Connor got stabbed in the chest and it's almost dead. But before he passes away, the character of Marcus Wright offers Connor his own heart in order to save the resistance. The reason why I thought this movie was so disappointing is because towards the end, it goes back to square one, where all the events of the movie doesn't even matter because the war against the machine is still going on. And then it came Genesys in 2015. So that movie is kind of a soft reboot. It's a movie in which they try to kind of restart the whole timeline that goes even prior to the events of Terminator 1. My biggest issue with this movie was exactly the fact that they tried to really erase Terminator 1 and 2 because, in my opinion, what is really good, you shouldn't mess with. And I think Terminator 1 and 2 were the best movies. So what do we get new in this film? This time we have Emilia Clarke playing Sarah Connor. And you know, I thought she was a really badass in Game of Thrones where she played the Mother of Dragons. But as far as Sarah Connor goes, I did not buy her in that role. I thought that she was very weak in comparison to the original Linda Hamilton. And the timeline in this movie completely changed the events of all the others films. A Terminator is sent back in the past, this time to save Sarah Connor when she's still a child, 8 years old. And the Terminator is actually who raises Sarah, and that's why when she's an adult she's already badass because she already knew about her fate all along. We also have a new Kylo Reese, this time portrayed by Jay Courtney, and I thought he was okay as far as his portrayal was fine. And in this movie he gets to meet his younger self and give advice to his younger self. In my opinion, the biggest mistake in this film was to make John Connor a Terminator. I really did not like that, and I think a lot of people share the same sentiments since the movie was a complete flop. And I really think that the story in this film was a complete bummer. I really did not like it, and I'm very glad that this movie is completely deleted from canon. And there you have it, guys. So these are the events that will no longer be canon following the new Terminator franchise. Do you think this is a good idea? Are you happy that the new Terminator will follow the timeline of Terminator 2? I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Canon, following canon. Are you happy that the new